All right, guys, so today we got a new taillight we're going to install on the Z900RS. I'm going to show you real quick before we start installing it what the OEM one looks like. This is the OEM halogen, just stock bulb. Well, it does have an LED in it, but it's very dim. When you hit the brakes, it's not very bright either. So let me see if I can show you guys the brake. It's not super bright. So we're gonna change that out today. I'm gonna show you. All right, so we got the MotoDynamic. This has a clear film on it, which I'm gonna leave while I'm installing it. But this is a LED taillight, and it also has sequential blinkers in it as well. So I'm gonna be able to take my rear blinkers off, which would be really cool. I can remove these two guys, and in theory, this should be my blinkers. It's all plug and play. So this is going to be the stock brake lights. And then we also have the resistors and wiring, which is also all plug and play for the turn signals. So it should be pretty straightforward. All right, so to remove this rear, take your seat off with your key. That's pretty straightforward. There are 4 screws you need to remove. One is on this one and this one. There are little pop tabs. As you can see, the little plastic piece pops into this rubber grommet. So you want to make sure that you pull both of those off like so. And then the tail light, this whole portion, I believe that's all there is. There's one more pop tab right there. And then this whole tail portion will come right off like so. So just make sure that you set this somewhere where it won't fall or get scratched, because that's an expensive piece. So now that we come back over here, we're gonna see we have 2 screws. Here's the 2 Phillips heads. We're gonna remove those, and then we should be able to get this tail light off. So the 2 screws, the one looks like this. What I recommend doing, get yourself a long screwdriver, and then you can just slip it in between like so, and you can just back these out super easy. Okay, so on the back of the OEM taillight, there's a plug. This plug is going to be oriented like this. On the bottom side, there's a little push pin. You just push that in, pull it out. It's going to pop out of that stock taillight. Super easy. Here's your OEM housing. Very simple. So let's go ahead to installing the new one. Now, what I am actually going to be doing, this is going to be a little bit more work, is if you're installing this taillight and you want to remove these blinkers because the new taillight has integrated turn signals, I am going to have to take this off, which kind of sucks because installing this was not very hard, but like I installed all of these, made these connections really nice and tight, so I am going to have to remove this to get those off. All right, guys, so just had a little bit of time here. So one thing I did have to do is I removed both of my turn signals on both sides. If you are doing this, if you have an OEM tail tighty kit, I would probably recommend at this time, if you're going to change out this and you're going to do the integrated turn signals into the tail light, I'd probably recommend doing a tail tighty kit at this time, because you're going to have to take your blinkers off if you are going to do this. So I was able, on this Evotech kit, I was able to get my turn signals off. Now the downside right now is I'm gonna have to figure something out. Is I have just these holes here. I'm gonna have to see if Evotech makes like block off plates for these guys. If they don't, might have to see if there's another type of tail tighty kit out there. But I really like this tail tighty kit, so I didn't really want to change that. But here we are. So we have taillight light, and then in here, these two, if you can see that white, or I'm sorry, that gray and the black plug, those are your turn signals. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the gray is going to be our left side, the black is going to be the right side, but I'm going to plug this all in before we even like set all the wiring and make it look nice, just to make sure I'm right. Okay, so to correct myself, the gray is the right signal and the black is your left signal. So black left signal, gray right signal. This is all straight plug and play, so you don't have to do anything crazy. So I'm gonna do all the wiring, make sure it works, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so this is one thing I wanted to point out. When you look at these like taillight kits online, make sure you're looking at a reputable company. This one is a MotoDynamic one. I paid for this with my own money, but I've seen plenty of other cheaper kits online that nearly identically look like the same thing, but the wiring is a lot different. So this kit is really nice. All color coded. You get your blue to your blue. This is going to be for your right turn signal. Since we have gray, that's going to plug in. You have a resistor, so they won't hyper flash. And then for our left turn signal, we have yellow to yellow. They have little waterproof covers that slip over, another resistor, and then your other turn signal. So I'm gonna figure out, actually, I have to look at these directions again because they're both, the connectors are gray, but they're pretty self-explanatory. You just gotta figure out which side is which. And then on the back of this, we have, or I'm sorry, right here, we have our plug for the actual brake light. So we're gonna go ahead and plug this all in, see if it works. All right, guys, so I just want to show you, I have everything connected. This would be the top of the taillight, what's installed, bottom of the taillight for our brake. So you can do, there's a few different, I think you can change the settings as far as if you want it to flash like this. You have your, that would be your left turn signal, sequential, right turn signal. I'll get a video once all the plastic is off, but I just want to show you guys what it looks like. So everything works. We're gonna now install it and tuck all the wiring away. All right, guys, so it is all wired up, all plug and play. The one thing, I wish the wires were a little bit shorter, but there is a lot more wires back here just because there's the resistors, and then you have these two male to female connectors for both turn signal lights. So like if you don't use the turn signals integrated, you can basically, you don't have to use these, and it will just function as the brake light. So let me show you running light. That's what the running light looks like. Looks really clean. I need to find a way so you guys can see. So there's your brake light. Flashes. So it'll flash every time. And then I'm going to show you the turn signals. That's to your left. Your right turn signal. And then your hazards. Those would be your hazards. So looks really good. It's much brighter than the OEM one by far. It looks really nice. And then when you turn it off, this is the smoked version. So it does have a nice smoked tint to it. So, but it's really bright, which I like. They do, MotoDynamic offers these in a clear, and which has no tint or anything on it, and then this version. So these are the two options. If you want to turn off the sequential turn or the sequential lights, where for your blinkers, there is a little button back here to control that, and you also can turn off the pulsing brake light as well if you don't want that on. I think it's a huge plus to have the pulsing brake light, so better visibility, that sort of thing. So I'm gonna put the rest together and I'll show you guys what the finished product looks like.